Alright guys, today I'm going to show you how to create multi-keys right inside of the free BusyWorks Beats sampler. So what I've done is I've created a unique one-shot section that you guys asked for in the sampler. So if you hit init, this will start your patch all over. We're going to go to just the one-shots tab. Make sure you guys enable this so you could actually hear the sounds. So from here, all we need are one-shots. So let's grab some one-shots from the blueprint at busyworksbeats.com/blueprint. Also, the one-shots are included in the factory library, so you guys can just click the drop down and select from here. But let's say you have a third party one-shot pack. So let's grab some one-shots. Now we're going to go for the stuff that's more tonal and less detuned. So let's grab a bell, for example. Something like this. Now we could just drag these onto each slot. So stuff like this we want to stay away from because it detunes. Let's grab something like this. Let's add a little brass in here, and then let's do all right, so now we have about 5 samples. I'd say 6 is a good starting point, so let's find one more, and let's scroll down and drag this into slot 6. So all we have to do is go to the top here and switch out the mode to round robin mode. Excuse me. So essentially what it's doing is if I press a key, is going through, as I keep tapping the key, it's going through each one shot in sequence. So this means if I play 6 notes all at once, it's going to play 6 different samples. And that's how we can create a multi-keys effect. Now one of these samples is off, so let's figure out which one it is. It's the duh, whatever that duh sound is. So let me go through and figure out which one is tuned. But before I do this, let me show you how to change the tuning. So what we could do is offset each slot here just by turning it off. And then what we'll do is just go in order. We'll take off round robin for now. Let's just turn it off. And this will be the starting tone. We're just going to tune everything to this first sample. So this one gives us this sound, and we can turn up the volume for this patch. All right, so ding. Okay, let's go to the next sample. This one is like an octave off if I had to guess. So let me see here if we could pull this. All right, so these should match. They're 2 different tones, but they should match. Now you can also change the sustain and give it a different envelope, so it hits more like a bell sound. All right, so now so turn the whole. If I want to tune it specifically, I can go to the tuning. So now they're more locked in. Okay, so now we have those 3 tones. Let's add the 3rd tone. To me, that sounds tuned. So that's good to go. Now this one sounds like a low octave, so let's pull this root note down to C3 instead of C4, so it goes up an octave. And let's give this a decay curvature. All right, sounds in tune to me. Now I'm going to pull this up 1 more octave just because I want to see. Now there's a shortcut. So let's say you want to just jump around the octaves. If you hold shift and you left click, it will jump around the octaves. So that's a little shortcut for you guys. And let's add this last bell. So here's the out of tune sound here. It goes duh. So we need to use the tuning here. Now we could do it that way, but I'd use that as a secondary thing. Let's use the root note. So it's kind of in between notes. This one's a little tricky because it's FM synthesis. It's probably as close as it's going to get. So in this case, let's add some decay curvature to it. And now we can hit shift or left click to drag this down to different octaves like that. All right, so now let's go back to the top. Let's go to round robin, and now we can play chords and different things. And we should be in key this time. All right, now let's go to some effects and let's add in our proprietary effects. So one of my proprietary effects is called half speed over the reverb. Fancy name. Okay, so basically you have half speed embedded into the reverb, so it creates a dark layer. And let's also up the decay curvature for the reverb and up the mix level here. Let's add some delay. Let's do synchronized mode. Let's do ping pong delay. Let's do, you could even do reverse delay. Let's add a little drive to it. Let's add even some texture in here. So one of my favorite textures is either crickets, the AC unit, which is funny enough. It just adds this realistic just tone. I don't know how to explain it. And then I'm gonna high pass filter it up to about 200 hertz so it doesn't get muddy in the fundamental frequencies. It just adds a little bit of extra realism to the sound. So now all we gotta do is play chords. Now it is, because we have the one shot separated by octaves so heavily, you might want to pull these back to be in the same octave. See where the one's like super high up? I'm actually gonna mute. Oh, no, I forgot one. Forgot our sixth slot here. So let's go back to off. And instead of muting everything, I'm just gonna turn this one up. So that seems in key. But what I'm gonna do is turn off the one that I pitched up an octave. It's just too high up. Actually, I'll just pull it down an octave. Let's hit shift, pull that back down. This is a little detuned to the ear, so that's something that we just got to get used to. Now, one thing we could do too is loop the one shots, and you could do crossfading as well to prevent any clicks. And also what we can do is do forward backward looping, backwards reversed looping, and we can add a pitch envelope as well. So this one here, the one shot belling, this is the one kind of wild card sound. So when it triggers, it makes everything else sound cool. All right, so we can get really detailed. So now let's go back to the effects tab. We're gonna add a filter in here. Let's add some resonance and let's give it a mod. Let's go to the front panel here. Let's use this filter. Let's add some more drive. Let's add a little chorus. And the cool thing is we can lock the effects here. So if we ever change out the source sounds for whatever reason, we can always keep them locked. And then if you guys like this preset, you can save it as a preset. And again, you can share this with your friends. You don't have to be, going through a middleman, BusyWorks Beats. Let's just call this one shot and call this round robin. And let's give it a name. I don't know, Bellish. Okay, now let's see what else we can add to this. Let's go to the effects. We can add some tremolo in here. We also have spring reverb. This is what we've newly added. There's a compressor in here to take care of any peaks. Also mess with this density knob. That's a nice knob for texture. Okay, now we have a super unique sound, all based on one shots. And the cool thing is, if you want to get more experimentative, you can simply go through one shots and hit the arrows to cycle between different samples. Now you got to make sure these are, make sure these are tuned properly. So this one is like really low of an octave, so let's pull it up. So that, now you can also add unison. I meant to mention we have a unison feature up here now where you can detune it. Let's take off one of these effects. Let's take off the reverse reverb, just because I want to hear the sound for what it is. And let's get rid of the halftime reverb for now. So that's the sound, and I'm going to pull the attack back on the compressor. Now if you want to turn up the volume of all the one shots, there's a master volume in the top right. So now we have this really unique sound. You can also turn up the smooth parameter to smooth out some of the crossfading. So this bass is clearly the thing making this sound unique. Let's just arrow through some of these other presets. So now I'm just clicking random stuff. Let's even loop this so that we can create like a texture layer. Let's create a crossfade. Let's do forward backward looping. So I'm taking all the short sounds and now I'm making them longer. So if the screen doesn't update, just click the tab over. Let's loop the sound. Again, these are just one shots. We can also increase the attack. So now we're dealing with so many octaves. I kind of lost track of where stuff is. So I'm just going by ear here. We're not getting too crazy. Well, we are getting crazy with the sound, but we're not going to go too berserk with the, let's actually load up a string one shot. Let's loop this. So now we're in like film score territory where take off unison just so we can hear the tone. Here's our new tone. Let's take out this bell. I like the bell, but let's switch it for something different. The only thing I want to do is go back to the reverb, cut out some of the lows here on the reverb. So now I'm going to do the thing we did before, which is to mute each layer and figure out which tone is just a little different than the other tones. That way I could just mute out a certain layer. So let's do this layer by layer. Let's turn slot 1 on. This one sounds cool. Just the sound by itself is crazy. Alright, so what it is the compressor is clamping down. That's what it is. Let's turn the threshold up. There we go. That's what the sound is. Loud. Let me turn this. We're saving this because this is crazy. So let's save that as one shot. I don't even know what to call that, like brass bass. That was pretty dope. So that's just the one shot. Let's add slot number 2. And these come with the factory sounds, by the way. I'm going to turn down slot number 1. This is low. And let's give it a sustain. I didn't realize sustain was down. Now this one, oh, okay, so I guess we do need a decay curvature on that. It's less tonal than I thought. It is subtly detuned as well. It goes, needs to be done. Now it's more tuned. Now let's add slot 3. Slot 3 adds a nice darkness. Only thing I'm going to do on slot 3 is hit shift and pull this up 1 octave. So that's a nice tone. Let's go to the brass layer. Pretty decent tone. That's a very short sound. Let's see if we could loop this and get any kind of texture out of this. little bit. And you can also pan each layer as well if you guys want to create more of a unique arrangement. Let's start panning stuff left and right. So add slot 5 here. This one's a little hard to hear, so let's pull it up an octave. Okay, so this one goes like that. Pretty unique sound we're getting here. So I'm satisfied with this sound. One thing I might pull back on is just some saturation. I forget which layer we added the saturation. Pull that back a little bit. We might add some chorus. The only thing is chorus might soften that aggressive tone. So now let's call this like, I don't know, like haunted orchestra. Sounds pretty crazy. All right, so let's see. And you can also load up on the main tab even more layers if you guys want to use some libraries at busyworksbeats.com/sampler. So again, we give you a factory library for free. So let's load in some of those free sounds here. Let's load in a string. And now this will be added on top of our one-shot area. So we can turn this up in volume. And I'm going to turn down the one-shot layer just so we can blend in our layer here without it getting overshadowed. All right, so now we have the strings. I kind of like how the one-shot layer was a little more aggressive. Let's add that back in. Take away some delay. We might not need delay on this one. Let's pull back some of the reverb mix. Now we have a more straight on sound here. Let's save this. Now when you save, it saves to the specific library so that you can, whenever you load sounds from libraries, it will save in that library. So let's call this one shot orchestra stack. I don't know. Something like that. Save that. All right, so we can bring those effects back if we want. Pretty powerful sound there. Let's mess with some filtering. It's a unique sound. All right, so again, we can stack more sounds. If you click on layer B, we can even add more sounds in here. So let's say we want to add like an organ. Let's add that in. Just click on it. It will load on that layer. Now what I'm going to do here is turn down the release and turn off the, oh, I forgot we locked the effects. Duh. Okay, so we're going to turn down the delay. And I'm debating if I want to get rid of the reverb. For now, let's just turn off the reverb just to see what it sounds like. So this should be our driest sound here. So as we layer in these multi-samples, we get a unique sound. And we can also pan these left and right. And turn the octave up and down. guys. Crazy. You guys can create your own libraries. So again, this free sampler, busyworksbeats.com/sampler, comes with a factory library of about 50 presets for you guys. The other libraries like Helios, Hypnos, Hercules, and our Halo 3D adds 600 more sounds, but that's for the paid customers. Then you have a synth tab. You guys can even add, we didn't even add that on this sound here. All the effects come with the free version, so you don't have to worry about like being limited in sound design. And then we have the one-shots that also comes with the one-shot library for you guys as well to get started. So get to making some presets, share your banks with your friends, and I want you guys to build on the BusyWorks Beats sampler platform. Thank you guys for watching. It's Game from BusyWorksBeats.com. If you want to partner for an official release, email me info@busyworksbeats.com. If you're a sound designer who knows how to do multi-samples and stuff like that. All right, y'all, or even if you do one-shots, we could organize that as well. So again, email me at info@busyworksbeats.com. The main difference is that our sounds are encrypted. So for example, if I open up my library for Hypnos and go all the way in, we have a specific encryption process that only works with our plugin. So we have the BSFZ, which is a proprietary encryption. So basically, people who partner with me, your sounds will be protected, okay? So people can't just jack all your samples. And then we have protected files as well called BWBS files, which are encrypted WAV files, okay? So people can't just copy and paste them to their computer, okay? So that's the benefit you get for an official partner release. Now, you don't have to partner with me. You could just put out libraries as you guys want. The main thing is to get this plugin for free, just go to busyworksbeats.com/sampler. And if you want the paid sounds, which is 600 sounds and more, we're going to be adding more sounds soon. Just go to busyworksbeats.com/sampler. Peace out, guys.